Okay, you guys, so here's what I thought we would do. I've got this painting. There's a little 8x10 canvas, and I've done this flower, okay? And it's sort of an abstract flower, lots of colors. I've even taken some Posca pens and outlined a few of the petals a bit, okay? Now, what I want to do is I'm going to take some string gel, and we're going to cover it like it's going to have a glass finish. But before I do that, I've got to varnish it. So the first thing I'm going to do, take a little gloss medium and varnish, and I'm going to pour it in this container. I know it looks dirty, but it's really not. And I'm going to take a soft brush and varnish the painting, all right? So this is a dry brush, no water on it. Now look what happens when I'm going to follow the swirls of my painting. And see, these little flower petals are going this way, so I'm going this way with it, okay? Now, I'm holding the cup over because I don't want any drips. I'm going to come this way around the center of my flower. Sort of kind of a fun design, isn't it? Okay. Now, as I come this way, I'll go like that. So I'm done about halfway. It doesn't take long. You don't need a lot. Make sure I don't have any drips. Here's the secret with varnish. I'll tell you again. Don't go over it again and again, because if you do, you can cause it to go gray on you. So as soon as you've done the varnish, and you can see the little angle brush here, kind of individually painting some of these, swirling this around, and notice how the varnish brings out the color. Do you see that? Now, that's all I'm going to do with that. Now, you see how much shinier that is and pretty? I mean, it just really brought out the colors on this. Now, if I want to make this picture look like it's behind glass now, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dry the varnish, and I'm going to smooth on some string gel. Yeah, this is really a fun project. I've done it on a few things. I think it's even neater on an abstract like this, kind of an abstract flower. I think it's kind of cooler. You'll notice that my Posca marks did not move because the pen was dry. So what I like about using a varnish like this in a little cup is you can pour it back. This is Liquitex Gloss Medium and Varnish. You can pour it back into the container if you want, assuming I could get the lid off. So anyway, that's what we're doing with this. Now this brush has to be washed immediately because the varnish doesn't come out easily. All right. So that's our next step. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the hairdryer, and I'm going to dry this. Normally I would just dry this for an hour, but I'm going to take the hairdryer and dry it. All right. Okay, so you can see that, right? All right, so then our next step is going to be making sure the back is. Did you see how when it dried, it kind of sucked it up a little bit? This move. You want the back of your canvas very, very stiff. Now, on a large piece, you might even want to put a piece of cardboard back here, because if you have a large canvas and you use string gel, sometimes what can happen is that the weight of it, okay, the weight of this very fun string gel, what it'll do, it will cause your canvas to sag if it's not tight enough, all right? So this is what we're doing now. So spraying it with water, the back of it, going to get really tight. And then hot water is good too, and then we're going to dry it with a hairdryer. Okay, you see that? Now let's hear the drum. I'm going to put it by the microphone, hear the drum. Alright, so you want this sort of drum feeling to it. Alright, now this is just an old dried, it's not wet paint, you guys. It's the colors I used in that, though. Kind of pretty, yeah? Alright, so now, what I want to do next, got it sitting on a piece of cardboard on some plastic. The other thing you can do is you can take some caps and lift it off, you know, put some caps underneath it. Kind of an interesting trick. You put then you sit it on the caps, so that the little feet don't get. It's a little tricky here. I want it to be level, so maybe I won't do that. But anyway, some Liquitex caps would be better. These are a little small. The Liquitex caps like this are actually probably better ones to sit it on, because if you do this and this, you can kind of see it. It would be a little more stable. See if I have 4 that I'm not using in the way of Liquitex caps. Here's one. See, let's see, is that going to work? That would pretty much keep it off. What you don't want is that string gel is going to want to cause it to stick to things. Yeah, look at there. There's 4 caps. Okay, so now I'm going to just do that. All right, now it can't. It's still pretty stable. It's up. Little feeties are up. Okay. All right, now here's an older bottle of jar of string gel. Oh, and I don't think I can even open that, so it's pretty old. So let's try a new one. All right. Here's a brand new bottle of Liquitex string gel. I haven't used it before, so I'm going to just peel off some of this. Try to peel it back and not tear it. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour this on here. Like that. Okay, and you can see I used about 1/4 of a jar. Now I'm going to take we'll clean that up in a minute. See, I need a pretty good palette knife. It's good to have your tools out ahead of time. I would recommend that. This is I would have probably done better with a long skinny palette knife. It's alright. We're going to just move this around. I'm going to just spread this like frosting. It's not going to dry really quick, and I'm going to do it in swirls because my flour is swirling. All right. Now, if you get it too thick, I don't know that I want it that thick. Oops. Put that in there. Probably didn't need that much. I'll put a little back. All right. I'm going to just swirl this around. When it dries, it's going to look like glass. All right. That's the trick with this. Going to totally look like glass. It's not really self-leveling. It is in a sense. It's not like pouring medium. It's not as self-leveling as pouring medium. On some pieces, you may want to, for instance, if it was a gallery wrap, you may want to tape the gallery wrap canvas on the sides so that it doesn't run over the sides. We're not going to do that today. That's a sock folder trick. We're not going to fool with that, but that would be artist tape, not masking tape, if you were to do that. Artist tape says it on the tape. That's what it says, and it's really so it doesn't pull your paint up. All right, here we go. Just kind of want to make sure I have it like this. Now, string gel is sort of interesting because it looks just white, and then you have to have some real faith. Here, we're going to put this there like that. I'm going to get some tub of towels out, clean this up around my jar. I'm going to clean all this mess up here. And this is important because otherwise you're going to glue. You'll not like that other jar. You won't be able to get it open. Okay, so I'm really cleaning all this up. I have about half a jar left, so I'm going to try to put this foil back a little bit. There'll be some leakage, but that probably was the place to lift it up. Well, maybe not. Wasn't really a good place for that. Okay, so I'm sure I've got all this cleaned up and off my fingers. I'm going to just use a towel, clean my jar here. I mean, that's really important if you're not using the whole jar. It's kind of important. So now, let's see. I'm going to just, I think that's pretty good. There's a little, at some point you don't want to keep touching it. You can do this, you know, you absolutely can do this, but you can't, if you keep touching it, you'll mark it up now. This is it. This is all you can do. You can do this. You know, try to self-level it like that. Just kind of hop it up and down. I see a little tiny bit of a hole right there. Could I take a tiny bit of string gel like that and fill it if I just drip some right there? I want to touch it, but maybe I could drip a bit right there on that little tiny bit of a hole. I don't know if that was even a good idea or not. You'll certainly find out. Whoops. Try to keep your fingers out of it. Okay? Now, see, we're just tapping it like this. Now, what happens to this? You can kind of see the pattern underneath, can you not? Kind of see that? Well, now what's going to happen is, you know, some people use epoxy, but that's, boy, that's odor, that's a couple of pores, that you need a peat gun to get the bubbles out. There will be some bubbles in this, a little bit. That's why I'm kind of just tapping it like this. And it did sort of self-level out. Did you see that? So then somebody said, well, what about these little bits right here on the corner? I don't mind those. If you did, then yes, you would take a little bit more. You've got to be kind of careful here. Just maybe dip it in like this. I don't want to mess up my nice clean jar. Okay? It's like honey. It's like thick honey. Okay? It's like thick honey. You have to be kind of careful here. So, whoops, we're making a hot mess. All right, let's just close this back up. I think I'll put that in water now. I'm just going to be done with that. I'm just going to just tap this up and down like this and try to level this out a bit. Okay, there it is. There it's going. Now, can you tip it? One thing you want to do is you need to leave this dry for about 2 days, 2-3 days, sometimes a week. What will happen is if you tip it up before it's dry, it will look dry on top. It will be wet underneath, and then it'll sag on you. Okay, so this is, I think this is about all she wrote here for me. Okay, so now I'm going to very carefully. I think we clean that up. Let me get another set of towels here. Clean my fingers. Clean the inside of this. Make sure the outside lip is clean here, so that I can get this back easily. Gotta very nicely screw this back on, like so. Put that over here. I should probably write on here what I've done, what's left on here. I think I'll write 1/2. It was something. What could I write with? I could possibly see. Probably a magic marker would be good if I had one. But I mean, it's important to here. Maybe I can. Let's see. Maybe why didn't that work? What was a white thing here? Let's see. I think I was using this yellow pen earlier. Will that show up? 1/2, and this is the date. So this is March 2018. I've used 1/2. Okay. So I'm going to mark that so that if I have a bunch of, this is the jar I'll go to next. Black would have been a better thing to mark it with, but you get the idea. Because again, I've got some in here, but this is a smaller jar. Got about half of this jar left, but I can't, without grabbing John, I really can't even open it. So there you go. All right, so now this goes away, and it's going to sit in a quiet, level spot in the house somewhere and just dry for a few days, and then you'll get to see the result. And I thought this was a really fun thing to share with you, how to use string gel. And, you know, what can you do with it? I really like it on small pictures. I think it looks just great. It looks like they're under glass. And you know, normally you don't put acrylic paints under glass. And so I think it's a really cool effect. So I hope you liked it. Hope you thought that was fun and informative. And we'll do the big reveal later. Well, you know, we like it too, and some of you guys come up with a really, I mean, you can't teach a good idea. You can teach technique, but you cannot teach a good idea, invent a good idea. We were just looking, for instance, like, talk about a good idea, right? this frame, which I'm not selling, by the way, I'm just explaining, right? This picture frame that Judy Guitar sent us, right? These just slide. You just twist them and they slide, and that's how you get the picture. It took about 5 seconds to get the picture in. And do you guys remember? Do you remember when we did this picture right here? This was like kind of like how to use your brush, you know, kind of a brush exercise. We made a pretty flower. Remember that? Yes? That was like a few weeks ago on YouTube, and which was a fun painting, and it was a good brush exercise and just something fun to do, and you could use a lot of imagination. And then I told you we took some string gel and poured it on top, and it took about 2 weeks to dry. Look at the difference. Look how it looks like this picture is now under glass. Is that not cool? And that's called string gel. Liquitex makes that. And I'm going to release a video. We have a video of how I did this, and we're going to release that on our Facebook club for our Facebook club members. So,
right.
You know.
Oh, was that to me?
Yes. Yeah, John's going to release that, and we'll show you how I did it. I got it on a little thick. I don't think you had to put it on quite as thick as I did. So it usually takes about 4 days to dry. It took us about 2 weeks. But look, isn't that just cool? And you can see it really looks like the painting is behind glass. There's a few little bubbles in it, and you sock folders may not like that. But no. You can do something called a two-part epoxy resin, which I could show you sometime. The thing is, then you need a heat gun, and you need some stuff, and you have to mix it right, and you have to have measuring cups, and it's the thing. Where this stuff you just sort of dump and spread. I mean, what's easier, right? Dump and spread, or, you know, heat guns and all that junk. I think for small paintings it's just fine, don't you? I think that's cool. So I had to show you that because I knew you'd be excited to see that. We said we'd show it to you, right?
We have a